now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and technical analysis. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, technical on-chain, and fundamental analysis. I know my own intro. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about the predictions that we've been making over the last week or so that Bitcoin would fail to hold its uptrending level of support, and that it would probably fall back down to around $21,500 and change. That has been the prediction on the board. And so far, Bitcoin's already fell to $21,900. Why is Bitcoin crashing? Where does Bitcoin go from here? And is this the beginning of something a lot larger? Because I'm going to be honest, this does not look the best for Bitcoin. In fact, there is now a signal that confirms that Bitcoin is likely to be in a considerably sized downtrend that is unlikely to end today, but that downtrend actually started and began today. So we're going to look at all of the technicals. There's a plethora of things that we need to dive into today on the Bitcoin chart to keep you guys updated about where Bitcoin is going, why Bitcoin is going where it is going, and why Bitcoin is going to go where it's going to go, and how far that might be. Is this the end of the potential resurgent bull market of Bitcoin, or is this actually just the beginning, but in a kind of a weird weird M. Night Shyamalan plot twist kind of way? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We've already got 152 people in chat. You guys know here at Coffee and Crypto Live, we like to bring you content where we teach you guys everything that you need to know about technical analysis. And if you guys don't already know, Club DeFi is live. For all of you guys that were in the beta back when we were testing out the subscription model, Club DeFi was in beta back then. It has now gone through full launch for Club DeFi's course, Principles of Technical Analysis. And for any of you guys who want to learn everything you need to know about technical analysis so you can do the kind of technical analysis that we're going to do in today's video, I encourage you to check out cryptojebb.com, because you will be able to find all kinds of information, not only about our channel, but also about Club DeFi, Principles of Technical Analysis. You just click this link right here. It's going to bring you over to Club DeFi, and you'll be able to see all of the videos in Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. There's over 60 of them, and in these videos, we teach you all kinds of things about TA. I am absolutely confident and certain that we are the forefront of cryptocurrency technical analysis education, and the reason that I say that is because we've helped teach over 6,000 people how to do the kind of technical analysis that we're going to do today. So, got a couple of announcements for you guys if you are a viewer of this stream or if you're an alumni of some of our other products. If you have not already, you should sign up for Club DeFi. You can get it with the link down below. However, if you are a member of CT2A, the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, which was the predecessor to the now new and improved Club DeFi Principles of Technical Analysis, if you're in CT2A, you have a 25% off coupon code waiting for you. All you gotta do is email support@cryptojebb.com, and we'll give you that coupon code so you can get $100 off. And if you were in Club DeFi's beta, then however much you spent on Club DeFi's beta, you can now use that as a coupon code. So if you put $125 into the beta, you can get a coupon code generated for you for that amount for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. Shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com, with verification of those purchases, of the subscription payments, and we would be more than happy to generate you your very own coupon code for Club DeFi Principles of Technical Analysis. Quite a few people have already used that method. I would love to see you joining Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis so that you can learn about TA. All right. We've already got 200 and some odd people in chat, 47 likes. Let's see if we can't get to 100 likes before we even get started. Gonna go ahead and read some green names, give some shout outs to you guys in chat. Michael Lowry is in chat, who is a moderator and a Jebbi Knight. both of those things. Thank you so much for your support, Mike Lowry. Said, good morning and happy #FinSoft Friday. Absolutely. Mike Lowry, I think you may have been the one that actually coined the term FinSoft Friday. So credit where credit is due. Might not have been you, but I think it was you. So shout out to you for that term. We've got Oh My in chat as well. Another regular said, good morning. I hope everyone has a good weekend. #FinSoft Friday. Alex Nibo said, good morning. Another regular. Wisely T, another regular. You guys love this stream, just tuning in every morning. I love sitting here with you guys. Happy Friday, Jebb. Wisely T said, about the line goes up video. I know it's 2 hours, but I'm interested in your take on just the first 30 minutes. Here's what I'll do. I will go to youtube.com. I am definitely not going to have time to watch it today, and I'll tell you why in a second, but I will take a look at it. The problem with NFTs, I'm assuming that's what you mean. Is that, yes, I think that's the video you're looking at. If I have time, I will try and watch that. I can't guarantee anything. I'll tell you guys in a second why I'm very crunched for time today. We're going to do the full stream, but after that, I'm very crunched for time. I'll tell you why. Sean O'Brien is in chat. Al Bundles. Sorry, I didn't mean to associate you with somebody whose greatest accomplishment in life was a touchdown in the 11th grade. I'm so sorry, Al Bundles. Let me make sure I get that right. In chat said, Jebb to the moon and much love. Thank you. We got Grand Roofing Incorporated in chat said, good morning, Jebb. Hello to you. Good morning. And good morning to Stephen McCoy, Crypto Mini Bite, Crypto Smitty, Jojo. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys wonder why I talk so fast. It's because I want to make sure I give some love to all of you here at the beginning of the stream. CBD Study said, I'm late for work, but I'm on time for Jebb. There you go. Adam Rorick in chat. Sean Frost in chat. Classic IT guy in chat. Win People's in chat. Christopher McFarlane in chat. Justin Eubanks in chat. Matt C in chat. We got all kinds of friends and fans in the chat here today. Shadrack Frost said, good morning, Jebb in chat. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank goodness it's Friday. Good morning. Actually, not thank goodness it's Friday. I love my job. I don't have to worry about being Friday. I just like Friday because I get to spend more time with my family, but I actually really like the week too. Joshua Hobbs said, good morning. I'm learning a new language. It's called Lux Algo. Help with H-bar. If you got a minute, what are the blood diamonds people are talking about? Blood diamonds are not a part of Lux Algo. That's part of Market Cipher. So Market Cipher is a decent product as well. In fact, I'd say it's a good one. I prefer Lux Algo for a multitude of reasons, but I have respect for that. Blood diamonds are on Market Cipher, if I remember correctly. They are talking about basically it's a signal that you're almost certainly about to go to the downside. All right. All righty. FinSoft, good morning, Jebb and family, Carl said. Thank you, Carl. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go ahead and jump straight on to CoinMarketCap, where we have some developments. Bitcoin is down nearly 5% over the last 24 hours. It is currently trading at $22,325, down 4.37% on the day. Ethereum down to 1568, down 3.76 on the day. Both of them down nearly around 5% over the last 7 days. Much of their drop happening over the last 24 hours. Binance is down as well, down 2.73%, and it's likely to have a little bit of a hard time because it's taken quite a lot of brand hits over the last 6 months. Binance was, of course, the largest cryptocurrency exchange at the time that FTX collapsed. And when you are the largest of anything and something in your industry collapses, and everybody looks at you and says, are you going to be next? And so quite a few people are concerned about Binance going belly up. I'm not saying that there's a lot of reason to believe that they're going to or not. I'm not wading into that debate. What I will say is that Binance is probably going to have a little bit harder next couple of years than it did the last couple of years, number one, because it's already gobbled up most of the market capitalization that it's probably going to. At least, maybe I should say market dominance that it's going to. It's already at rank number 4. I doubt it's going to unseat Tether or Ethereum. But 2, it's also got Binance USD collapsing, and you can see that taking place in real time down here. Binance USD has lost another $500 million in market capitalization overnight. In the last 24 hours, we were sitting at 90 million. Now we're sitting at 610 million. It's lost nearly $500 million in market capitalization in just the span of the last 24 hours. If you'll remember, over the last year, this stablecoin, right before the collapse of FTX and right moving up through the collapse of FTX, rallied all the way up to $22.83 billion. But around Valentine's Day, we had some fateful news come out that Paxos was no longer going to be minting new BUSD in response to some how should we say, attacks from the Securities and Exchange Commission. So unfortunately, the golden era for BUSD is over. It is still pegged, so you're not losing value, but the circulating supply is continuing to decline as people withdraw their money from BUSD. Paxos no longer mints new BUSD, so to keep the thing pegged, then they have to burn BUSD, and so that's where the supply is going. It is gradually evaporating and eventually will completely and totally disappear. Unfortunate event for cryptocurrency, but one thing that this may be contributing to is that all the outflows of money, we're looking at $6 billion flowing out of BUSD, has to be going somewhere. Where is it going? A lot of it is probably going into cryptocurrencies, but some of it might, just a little bit of it, I'm not talking about a lot, but some of it might be going into some of the other stable coins. We haven't seen the market capitalization change all that much. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I'm sorry. I was looking at the daily chart. If you look at the last month, you can see right over here, right around the time that BUSD did actually get shuttered, you've seen the market capitalization on Tether jump by $3 billion. So I would imagine that a good portion of those dollars that are in BUSD are starting to shift over to Tether. I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar thing happening on USD coin as well. That is the wonderful thing about having a market that is very flexible, where if you have $6 billion leave one stable coin, then $3 billion can go into Tether. And now, as you can see on this chart, $3 billion can go into USDC. All right, but the real story today is not BUSD, it is Bitcoin, because as you guys can see here, Bitcoin has gone through a pretty large drop. If you have been watching this stream over the last over the last week or so, pretty much this whole week, you would have seen this coming. And you wouldn't have been like the Titanic running through the North Atlantic. You would have seen this happening, and you would have hopefully done something to prepare yourself for it. You can even see on our chart here, we've been talking about how this is likely a bear flag forming, and that we would end up having a price target form here that would drop us to at least $22,000, if not $21,500. I do have a price prediction on the board right now of $21,500, and I'll show you exactly why that is. And again, if you want to see me talking about this drop before it actually happened, go back to the last two live streams. I talked about them extensively and what would happen if we did drop down here. So there's a lot to break down today, because this is a very, very, very important movement on Bitcoin. This is far more significant than just a $1,000 5% move on Bitcoin. Infinitely more significant than just a 5% movement, which would otherwise be relatively insignificant. This is very important for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons is Bitcoin has broken below an uptrending level of support. You know, let's just go to a clean chart here. And I even have the price target here on this other chart too. You can see I've been talking quite a lot about this here on the channel. Let's just go ahead and look at this chart, because this has some, this is a lot cleaner as far as the drawings on here. We have our resistance level at $25,236. To reestablish in your mind where that came from, that is a local high that was set on 15th of August, 2022, again at $25,236. That is the level to beat. If Bitcoin beats that, we are beginning the conversation about Bitcoin entering into a bull market. Let me say that again. If Bitcoin breaks above, and I'm sorry the chart wasn't framed correctly there, I will fix that. If we see Bitcoin break above $25,236 at $25,237 and up is where we start beginning the conversation of a Bitcoin bull market. Before then, that conversation cannot begin, because that conversation does not have the confirmations that it needs to actually go ahead and start. So the unfortunate thing for anybody that was hoping that Bitcoin would be about to start the bull market, which now I'm predicting sometime in mid to late summer, which honestly, this is the beginning of the bull market. It's just not confirmed yet. Breaking above 25,236 was critical. We did not do that. We started to fall. That means that Bitcoin's buy pressure, its exuberance, however you want to say it, started to be curtailed, and Bitcoin was not able to sustain the bull market momentum that it had here for a time. What you witnessed during this period from about Christmas to about Valentine's Day is what a bull market feels like in Bitcoin, rallying $9,000 in 53 days. That's what a bull market feels like. So if you're new to crypto, you've never been here for a bull market, there you go. That's what a bull market feels like. We're not in a bull market yet, though, so we shouldn't expect to just constantly feel like we're in a bull market, because it just doesn't work that way. So a couple of the big developments that have taken place since Bitcoin rejected from 25,236 are as follows. First and foremost, as we predicted, guys, I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but we've called almost every single movement here to a T since we've rejected from 25. We've pulled back to where we talked about at 22,808. That level is significant because that level was the local high that we set on 13th of September, 2022, again at $22,808. That is also likewise a level that Bitcoin had used as more or less a zone, but almost in a lot of cases a level of resistance. and support back here in late January and early February. 22,808 was very significant. We fell back to that originally. When we saw Bitcoin rally to this point and then correct down to here, right here, this was on Monday's live stream. This was on Tuesday's live stream. Feel free to go back and watch Tuesday's live stream. I told you guys that that was a very bad sign. And the reason that was a very bad sign is because Bitcoin failed to break above any kind of critical resistance. The next major resistance that Bitcoin needed to break through was 23,855, I think was the level I was looking at. 23,833 is the level I was looking at. We needed to break through 23,833. I'll just go ahead and show that line right here. 23,838. I'm sorry, I misspoke again. This level represented the local bottom that was set right here. Bitcoin desperately needed to get above that to enter into any kind of confirmed uptrend and to get Lux Algo on its side by turning this buy signal into a confirmed buy signal and by breaking above the EQ cloud, as you can see right here, and causing trend catcher to turn green and enter into an exorbitant rally. Bitcoin failed to do that. From that point in time, since Bitcoin was not able to get above 23,838, it corrected down to this level just above $23,000. There was some hope because theoretically anyway, we had set a new higher low, and then come Wednesday, we had set a new higher high when we tried briefly to break above 23,838. But on Wednesday's live stream, I told you that the fact that Bitcoin just barely managed to break above 23,838 and then immediately had a major correction. And then literally 1 hour after the stream ended, we saw this giant red candlestick and we saw the shooting star formation, which you can learn about in Club DeFi over here, Hammer and Shooting Stars. It's right there. Then you would have been able to use what you learned in Club DeFi to predict that this was a topping out formation. Then you saw the spinning top, indicating that there was lack of confidence in this uptrend, which we had seen over the last 3 green candlesticks. Then the very next hour, we saw a major correction. These 3 candlesticks were almost a very elaborate bear doji, and they told us that the market's rally was coming to an end and that we were not seeing a lot of confidence. Then we saw Bitcoin come down, retest this uptrend. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about how Bitcoin was trying to bounce here, but if it could not have a strong bounce, then it was probably going to break to the downside over the next couple of days and probably before the weekend was over. That's exactly what occurred. So last night at approximately 8 p.m., that's 2,000 hours Eastern time, Bitcoin went through a major correction and dropped below 23,250, which was where our uptrending level of support that you can see drawn right here is. And we corrected all the way down here to basically exactly $22,000. We'll just go ahead and draw this level at 22K. This is the level that Bitcoin used as support. By the way, if you guys don't know why I'm changing the color of my chart, I always change resistance to red. I'm not always the most consistent with it, but I normally change resistance to red and support to blue so that it's a little bit easier to follow. That's just a method that I came up with a long time ago, and a lot of people seem to find it helpful. So if you do, then you're more than welcome to do that. But nevertheless, Bitcoin did decide to go through a major correction, and as you can see, it turned a lot of these blue lines red. Now we're below 22,808. Bitcoin would need to get above 22,808 to be able to go anywhere bullish. But there's a lot more on the hourly chart and the 4-hourly chart to read into than just the fact that we had a correction. Because you see, when we went through this correction, one of the ways that we predicted this correction was through the fact that Bitcoin was in a bear flag. What's a bear flag? Again, that's something else we talk about over here in in Club DeFi. We talk about it in continuation. In this video right here, we talk about bear flags. Bear flags show up whenever you have an uptrend, which is set by parallel support and resistance lines and follows a downtrend. So let me say that again. A bear flag is constituted by the market moving to the upside with parallel, not converging, not diverging, but parallel uptrending levels of support and resistance following a major downtrend in the market that then entered into that pattern. You can see what it looks like here visually. If the linguistic side of that doesn't make as much sense to you, I get it. People learn different ways. That's why we talk and have visual. What you can see here is that whenever you draw this price target, you draw this price target just like this. As you'll notice, this price target points to $21,461, which is very close to the level of support around $21,500. That level, I'll just go ahead and draw precisely here. It's more like 21,485, and I'll show you where this level comes from in just a second. Just get right in here and draw it exactly where it goes. 21,473. That is the local high that was set just before FTX collapsed on that fateful 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time tweet by Sam Bankman-Fried, then 11:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tweet by Changpeng Zhao over at Binance on November the 8th, same day as elections for the midterms. 4 days before that, Bitcoin topped out at 21,473, depending on the chart you're looking at. That is a level that has been used and respected quite a bit this year thus far. We rejected from it here, and we tested support on it here. And by the way, that price target points exactly to it, almost to the dollar. You can see the price target points to 21,480. The level of support is 21,473. This is that roughly $21,500 price target that I've been telling you guys about for over a week. Ever since we started going into, well, actually this week, not over a week, since Monday or Tuesday, since we started going into this uptrend, we've been talking about 21.5 being a not only possibility, but a likelihood. What does that mean for you? Well, what that means is that Bitcoin has a decent chance of not holding $22,000, which is where its current support is. 22K is a fine level. We have used it as support and resistance before. It does have historicity right here, and we've also used it as a resistance in this region. And if we bring up VRVP, it does have some degree of importance as well, because it marks a trough in the VRVP right here. You can see there's not a lot of trading around that level because it's actually the level that's being used as support and resistance. At 22,000 exactly, at 22,000 exactly right here, there's actually not a whole lot of trading going on, not a whole lot of VRVP support and resistance going on, because there's not a lot of trading there, and Bitcoin just broke straight through it. So there are two scenarios here that are highly likely. One of them could have already happened. Either one, Bitcoin will likely go through the correction as it did, bottom out at $22,000, and bounce. That seems unlikely to me for reasons I'll share with you in a second. On the flip side, on the other hand, we could see Bitcoin drop down to 21,473 in keeping with this bear flag right here, and also in keeping with the fact that Bitcoin has seen such a massive correction that it instills this confidence in the bears that, wow, we can move the market $1,000 in an hour. What does that mean? That means that the bears are likely to be very, very confident at the moment. The bears are likely to be very, very certain that they can move this market however they want. On top of that, going through this correction did not just cause Bitcoin to break support. It also caused the other two markets that we've been watching very closely to break support. If you'll remember, we've been looking at the total market capitalization charts on Bitcoin's on TradingView for the last several weeks. In the same way that Bitcoin has three major levels of resistance, so too does the total market capitalization charts. Bitcoin needed to break and hold above all three of them before we could confidently say that Bitcoin was in a bull market. Right now, Bitcoin is below all three of them. Instead of getting above $1,181 billion like we wanted to, and instead of even just barely holding above $1,031 billion or $1,052 billion, which are set by these highs here in September and November respectively, as a result of this drop on Bitcoin, we have fallen completely out of that range, and the total market capitalization charts pretty much only has this level right here to play with as support, and now all three of those levels are resistance. As well as that, on top of that, Ethereum has broken bearish below all three of its levels too, and it has rejected off of the resistance that is downtrending right here, set from this high August 13th, 2022, and then this high just after Valentine's Day this year, and we're below all three of these levels. Bitcoin is below all but one of them. From this point, Ethereum could potentially hold this uptrending level of support. That would be something that we'd be looking for. It is very possible. That is constituted by these two local highs over here. In fact, I think if you draw this back, you're going to see it testing several other levels as well. So this is a pretty important uptrend on Ethereum to keep in mind. But if ETH can't hold above this level at about 1522, then ETH is very likely to go through a major correction too. So that brings us back to Bitcoin. Since Bitcoin is the one driving this market, where does all this come into play? Well, I hope you see this level right here. This level right here. This was not drawn today. I did not draw this before. I actually drew this in, I believe it to be yesterday or Wednesday's live stream. So again, for any of you guys that watch this channel every single day, you saw all of this coming. This line right here is a price target, and it is set there for a very important reason. Right now, Bitcoin has a price target based on this bear flag and based on one of the most important indicators in all of Bitcoin technical analysis that I will show you in a moment. It has a price target of roughly $21,473. This bottom is probably not over. Even if this is the bottom, it doesn't really change what I'm about to say all that much. If Bitcoin bottoms here or here, doesn't really matter all that much. It is possible that Bitcoin's bottoms here. If you're wondering why it has support, it's also finding support on that uptrend. So yes, theoretically, Bitcoin could bottom out here at 22K and move to the upside. If it does, that's a point in favor of the bulls, but we'll leave that for a moment. If Bitcoin bounces here or at $21,500, anywhere in this range right here before, let's call it March 10th or so, if it bottoms anywhere there, then Bitcoin has effectively created one gigantic head and shoulders pattern, which you can see is played out here. Whether it bottoms here or whether it bottoms down here, it doesn't really matter all that much. It would still be a head and shoulders pattern. If Bitcoin manages to go through a rally, it's make it or break it territory. Bitcoin absolutely must break through $24,000 and move up to at least $25,000 unless Bitcoin wants to contend with a head and shoulders pattern, which has a price target of 17,500. So, on the bearish side, I give it to you guys straight. A month ago, we were talking about the potentiality of Bitcoin moving to 28,545. Why? Because that's what the market was showing. But there was also an if-then statement in that price prediction. Bitcoin must break 25,236 with a lot of confidence. And then it could go to 28,545, and we would get out of this zone, and Bitcoin would likely go up and to the right, and it would likely do very well. If that occurred, then Bitcoin would probably do very well. That did not occur. And so the bearish side of our prediction has been coming true ever since. Since Bitcoin was unable to break through that August 13th high from 2022, it's been going through a correction. And this correction, as I said a month ago, could lead you anywhere from $21,500 to $17,500. Somewhere in that range is likely where Bitcoin will bottom out. I'm going to paint the picture of why 17.5 is a possible price target if 21.5 is broken. That's unpopular, but I don't make videos to always be popular. I make videos to make sure that you guys are well informed about the real side of the market, even if that is not to your liking, even if that's not your cup of tea, even if you don't like the idea of Bitcoin moving to the downside. I'm going to give you the facts, and then you can do what you want with them. I'm not here to offend you, but I'm also not here to coddle you. That's the way that we look at this market. All right, so Bitcoin right now is in a very important decision point, as we have seen. It must hold above 22,000 or 21.5 and move up to 25,236 at least, and at least set a higher right shoulder if it doesn't want to go through a head and shoulders pattern breakout to the downside that would likely drop it to $17,000. Honestly, it probably wouldn't drop quite that far. I'll show you the other levels of support in a minute. 17.5 is kind of the extreme. Nevertheless, this head and shoulders pattern, as you can see right here, very simply, I'll just go to a clean Bitcoin chart. Very simply, would have a level of support either here at $21,400, whatever the level was we said. It's roughly 21,400. It's that high that we set back over here. Or on the other hand, and this is the more bullish scenario, Bitcoin could have a neckline right here. So whether Bitcoin bounces here, then it would use this uptrend. If Bitcoin bounces here, then it would use this flat level. Whatever the case may be. However, this head and shoulders pattern could and probably will play out. The price target is drawn as follows. We draw from $25,250 down to our level of support, whether it be here or here. It frankly doesn't make that big of a difference. So let's go with the more the worst case scenario and then the best case scenario. We'll show the worst case scenario in red, best case scenario in blue. This is the best case scenario. Best case scenario is Bitcoin bottoms out here at 22. It doesn't go down to 21.5 in the next couple of days. Then we get a price target like this. We draw and extrapolate from probably in late March when we would break that uptrending level of support. If we do, it's possible we don't. That would give us a price target of $19,500. $19,500, you look at your VRVP, you're going to find there's plenty of support right there. In fact, the point of control is sitting at 19.1. Great. Hooray. That's what I'm saying. We could find support above 17.5. That's not actually a bad scenario. We'll talk about why in a second. Now, the other scenario is quite a bit worse, and that does happen, and that is more likely if we do drop relatively soon down to $21,500. You might think there's not much of a difference here, but the difference actually comes from where the market sees its break. Because right now, sure, there's not that big of a difference between this uptrend and this flat level if you're measuring from the head to the shoulder to the neckline. However, when you go to extrapolate is when it becomes a problem. You see, if we draw this red line from where we would probably be breaking this support, then it doesn't point at 19.5 or 19.6 or 19.7. It points at 18.1 or even lower if you draw it the way I did on this other chart, as you can see right here. Depending on how you draw it, we could see a price target as low as $17,500. Realistically, we're looking at a price target between 18.2 and 19.6 if we go through with this head and shoulders pattern. Now, a couple of things. what's the likelihood of either one of these things taking place? And what does that mean for the bull market theory that I have coming in late summer? Let's talk about both of those things. The fact of the matter is, I think one of these scenarios is quite likely. And the reason I think it's quite likely is that either one, Bitcoin just forgets this entire thing in the first place and just breaks through 21.5 right now. Or if Bitcoin doesn't break straight through 21.5, I have a hard time believing Bitcoin's going to be able to break back up to $23,300 or $24,800. And even set that right level shoulder in motion in the first place. I don't see a lot of exuberance right now. What I saw yesterday on the chart, looking down here on the 1 hour chart, what I saw yesterday was a massive short liquidation. Let's just, real quick, let me go to CoinGlass. I don't have it bookmarked on this new computer of mine, but I think I can find it right here. Yeah, there we go. Go to coinglass.com/liquidation data. I guarantee you, I have not looked at this yet, but I can virtually guarantee you there was a long squeeze. Aha, look at that. There was a $200 million long squeeze. I promise I did not pre-analyze that, but you see the way the market moved. When you see sideways, 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 boom, negative $1,200 in an hour, you know there was a liquidation. We saw $200 million worth of longs liquidated yesterday, as opposed to only $12.76 million worth of shorts. Of course, Bitcoin was going to go through a major correction. Duh. It had $200 million of sell pressure dumped onto the market in less than 60 minutes. That was always going to take place. You can see over the last several months, the liquidation data has switched from a massive amount of short liquidations, $500 million to the tune of on January 13th, to a huge number of long liquidations. That signifies the bulls are starting to lose power and the bears are starting to take back control. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. We'll talk about it in a moment. But if the bears are so strong and the bulls are so weak that we can go through a $200 million long liquidation, then where are we going to find, I ask you, where are we going to find the support and the strength and the bullish exuberance to go through a rally back up to 24.8? I don't see it happening right now. It is possible, but whereas Bitcoin was getting very weak when it tested this resistance, Bitcoin is only getting stronger as it tests this support, indicating to me anyway, that that the Bitcoin bears are still in the process of gaining strength. Not of running out of strength and going through a rounding top, but of accelerating. If this were a bear trend, if this trend were plotted over this, we are here, not here. We're gaining strength, not losing strength. We're picking up momentum, not running out of steam. So that's where I have a hard time believing that Bitcoin is just going to be able to hold $22,000 or $21,500 extremely easily. Now, maybe it does hold it, but it's going to be a challenge. And even if it does, how far could we really bounce? Even if especially if we fell down to 21.5, we'd probably bounce and test this uptrending level of support as resistance, bounce our head off of it, and then we go through the head and shoulders pattern. Now, this seems like doomsday. I know that I've talked about a lot of bearish things in this video, but is this really a bad thing for Bitcoin? No. Bullishness and bearishness is oft confused as good and bad, but that's not the case. Bullish and bearishness are not good and bad things. You might be a bear right now. You might be a bull right now. That doesn't make you good or bad. That makes you bullish or bearish. Is Bitcoin dropping potentially down to the $18,000 to $19,000 range? Is that a bad thing? I would say not necessarily. Why? Well, I've left Lux Algo on the sideline for the majority of our technical analysis today because it really gives us a lot of answers that answers the questions that all the TA we've done thus far is asking us. Where does Bitcoin go? Why? And how does it impact the hope that Bitcoin is moving into the third part of the halving cycle and that soon we should be preparing for Bitcoin to rally to $40,000 to $55,000 as I expect and predict by the end of the year, preparing for the bull market that would come post-halving, that halving taking place in March of next year. What does that look like? How does it play into that? Well, let's look at it. First, I want to draw your attention to the previous bull markets in times past, especially the 2016-17 bull market. Look at this bull market. It looks like Bitcoin is just going straight up and to the right, correct? Well, look at it from a linear chart. You start to realize, wow, there's actually some pretty deep corrections in here. Some of these corrections, I was here for this in 2017 anyway. Some of these corrections were 40 to 50% deep. This correction here was 37% in 11 days. Again, remember this bull market, very end of 2015 to the very end of 2017, was over 10,000% in height. We saw some huge rallies where we'd rally 80% in a month, but we also saw some huge corrections where we'd crash 40% in a week, multiple times. over and over, Bitcoin would crash 30 to 40%. Right here is where I got into the space. I got into the market, just for any of you guys who don't know me, my name's Jebb McAfee. I'm Crypto Jebb on YouTube. And I got into the space July 31st, 2017 at about 8 p.m. at night. If you look on the weekly chart, this leftmost line is where I got in. I've been in the space for all of this. I've watched this market for 6 years. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Bitcoin going through corrections in bull markets. And this is kind of the hopeful part of our TA, because I like to leave you on a high note. I like to leave you with a real good feeling, as we might say. When I got into the space, Bitcoin had just gone through a 38% correction in the span of just a little over a month. Then, during my first month in the market, Bitcoin rallied 80%. I remember this happening. I remember sitting there on Bittrex. Who remembers Bittrex? I remember sitting there on Bittrex every single day, looking at Bitcoin going up and up and up and up and up, and looking at CoinMarketCap, because yes, CoinMarketCap was around back then. Looking at CoinMarketCap saying, wow, Bitcoin just went up 5% today. What do I do about this? Because I've got, excuse me, I'm not even a... It's July. Yeah, I'm a 16-year-old college kid. I'm sorry, I'm a 16-year-old high school kid, actually. I'm not even in college yet. My first semester of college was coming up in like 2 months. I'm a 16-year-old college kid. I'm looking at Bitcoin going up, and I'm like, I got $5 to my name and a silver coin my uncle gave me one time. I got no money to invest in this thing, but I wish I did. It just went up 80% in a month. This is exciting. And then Hurricane Irma hit. Who in Florida remembers Hurricane Irma? Well, Hurricane Irma hit right around this point in time, when Bitcoin hit $5,000 and Bitcoin corrected 40% in 13 days, and almost every single one of those 13 days, I had no power. So I was just sitting there, charging my phone in the car, looking at the market on my phone, having no idea what's going on in the space, thinking, why is the market correcting this much? It just dropped 40% in a month, in 2 weeks. But I remember telling my dad, I'm like, Dad, it does this. I've seen this before. I looked back on the market. I looked into the past and remember and he would probably remember what I told him. Look, Bitcoin dropped 40% 2 months ago. Bitcoin dropped 40% 4 months ago. So what if it drops 40%? And I ask you the same question. So what if Bitcoin drops 40%? 40% drop for Bitcoin would be a new bear market low at $15,000, just so you know. So if 40% isn't that big of a deal for a correction during a bull market, then so what if Bitcoin drops 20%? So what? So what if Bitcoin drops 20% from $25,000? Exactly 20% would be an exactly $5,000 drop, which would be exactly $20,000, which is our previous all-time high. I'm sorry, which is not the last, but the bull market before that's all-time high in 2017. What's the big deal? There isn't a big deal. Now, what might seem like a big deal is that we do now have a sell signal on the Lux Algo daily chart. That's something I've been kind of preaching doomsday about for you here on Bitcoin. And the main reason for that is because if we do see this sell signal on the daily chart, then yes, we're probably going to go through a major correction. But this sell signal is likely just confirming the theory I already have from the head and shoulders pattern. It doesn't give us a price target. That's not what Lux Algo does. It confirms a trend. There's other parts of Lux Algo that gives a price target. I'm going to give you a price target, but this is just saying we're going into a downtrend. I think at this point, and this is something that we can either freak out about or that we can be mature in our investing and on our technical analysis journey and realize it's just part of it. And we can say, look, Bitcoin as of today on the daily chart for Lux Algo has confirmed a downtrend. What do we do now? What do we do with this? We've confirmed a downtrend, a sell signal on Lux Algo because we had red trend catcher and we saw the sell signal come into play. The last confirmation I would be looking for would be a break below this uptrending level of support. Then I would say that we're probably definitely going into a downtrend. At that point in time, here's what probably happens. We probably see the EQ cloud top out here around $22,500 within the week. We probably start to break down into the EQ cloud, and we probably attempt to find support around the midline of the EQ cloud. It's not drawn here. I kind of wish it was, something I might recommend to Sean, but the midline of the EQ cloud I found to be helpful in past. The middle line right in here is probably where Bitcoin would go to next, and just so you know, that lines up with 21.5. If we break through that, then we probably come down to the bottom part of the EQ cloud. Oftentimes, what happens is that Bitcoin will break through the one side of the EQ cloud and then go to the other and then reject on the other side of the EQ cloud. There's good examples of that on the 4-hourly chart. I will show you. On the 4-hourly chart, I do believe anyway, yes, there are good examples of this on the 4-hourly chart. A lot of times, Bitcoin will break through the bottom of the reversal of the red EQ cloud and break up to the other side and reject. Or, on the other hand, sometimes what will happen is that Bitcoin will do the opposite and it'll break through the top of the blue EQ cloud to the bottom and then bounce to the upside. A lot of times that does mean that that could be the first corrective wave in an Elliott wave correction movement. I'll show you what that means in a second. But even if that's the case, even if we do bounce off of the bottom of the EQ cloud, we bounce, rally, hit our heads on 21.5, then move to the downside, drop down to around 19.5 or 18.2. So what? The reversal zone is still pretty high, giving us support at $17,000. We're still setting higher lows. We're still likely setting lows well above previous bull market lows, bear market lows at $18,000. We've still set nearly equivalent highs, and on the weekly chart, I don't have time to go into all the insanely bullish things on the weekly chart, but just one that I haven't talked about much recently is that if we do go down to $18,200, then you have the biggest inverse head and shoulders pattern in the history of the entire Bitcoin market over the last 14 years that gives you a price target of $29,200, which sounds eerily similar to that price target that I've given you at $28,000. I'll just go ahead and draw right here at $28,545. If Bitcoin does go down to $18,200 as a result of my $21,500 price prediction coming true, then $28,545, which is the mid bull market low here in June of 2021, becomes exceptionally more likely because you formed a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern because of a daily chart head and shoulders pattern. In short, no matter how Bitcoin plays this, bullish, bearish, over the next month, it sets itself up to look great in the summer. That's my point. You know, we get so worried about the daily chart. We get so worried about what's happening on the 4-hourly chart, and we forget to look at the weekly and the monthly. Go back to the stream I did. I think it was Wednesday. You guys can tell people in chat what day it was. I forgot what day it was, but there was a stream I did this week where I talked about all of the bullish factors on the long term and why I firmly believe that while this decade is going to be a harder decade than the 2010s for crypto as a result of a huge number of geopolitical and macro factors, based on the halving cycle, I think that Bitcoin will be between $40,000 and $55,000 by the end of this year, and it will hit all-time high sometime before Q3 is over of 2024. That's only 18 short months away. I'm talking about a $70,000 Bitcoin or more in 18 months, in a year and a half. That's not that long. But that is, that is long enough for you to start loading up your bags while we're down here at these low levels. So if we have a lot of confidence, and I do, that Bitcoin is trading around its absolute lows for this bear market right now, even if it's not quite there yet, then what are we doing not loading up? I know I'd like to get some more Bitcoin at $18,000. I know I'd like to get some more Cardano at 27 cents or whatever the bottom was. I think it was 24 cents, actually. 24 cents. I would love that. I'm not going to complain about that. I would love to get more time to load up. I would love to get more time to establish the content on this YouTube channel. So you guys are just getting a lot of great content. I would love to get more time to learn more about the space because I've been in the space for almost 6 years. This summer will be 6 years. But I'm always learning more. I'm always striving to learn more about the cryptocurrency space. I'm never stopping learning. I am an autodidact. I teach myself and I learn from people that teach me. I don't take all the credit for it. Everything I've ever learned, somebody's taught me. But I want to go out and find that information so that I can learn and better myself and improve myself and make sure that I am helping my family chart a path towards financial sovereignty while helping you guys chart a path towards financial sovereignty. That's my whole dream. That's my job. And it's the greatest job I could ever have asked for. It's exactly what I was put on this earth to do at this point in my life and will be for a very long time. And I'm very excited about it. So a bear market doesn't faze me. A correction doesn't faze me because it gives me time to prepare. Just like a farmer who harvests in the summer, should he not plant in the winter, then he will have nothing to harvest. And unfortunately, that's a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys end up going through this fear whenever the winter in bear market in Bitcoin comes. Whenever the fall begins and you can tell that winter is right around the corner, you get paralyzed. You go into hibernation and you stop working on yourself or on your portfolio or on your financial sovereignty or on the betterment of you and your family. And you miss out on a great opportunity because billionaires are made in corrections, millionaires are made in bull markets, but billionaires are made in bear markets. And talking about the stock market, but in crypto too. The people that make the most money are the people that buy whatever it is that is the best buy right there. And you know when you get the best buys is when negative amortization comes to the United States, and as a result of neg am, you have the entire housing market collapse, and the subprime mortgage crisis happens. You see housing prices get cut in half, and if you're the guy sitting on the sidelines with, oh, I don't know, $100 million, and you dump it into the real estate market, then you're going to make $500 million over the next 10 years as a result of the rental income, the very low interest rates because the Fed slammed them to the floor to stimulate the economy, the cheap debt, the high liquidity, and the fact that those houses will end up appreciating by 200% over the next 8 years. That's what people did in 2008 to 2016. You might not have $100 million. I don't know about you. I don't have a time machine. I'd love to go back and invest in real estate in 2008. I was in second grade, so I don't know how that would have worked, but I would have loved to have done that. But what we can do is we can take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us right now. And I'm here to tell you that while Bitcoin going down to 21.5 or down to $18,000 or $19,000 sounds scary, it is actually a great opportunity because Bitcoin rallied from $18,000 to $25,000 like that. And it just took so many people, including myself, by surprise. I'm like, wow, Bitcoin kind of came out of nowhere on just a CPI report and just exploded. That gives us confidence for the bull market that there is still enthusiasm here. But it did mean that there was a lot less time to kind of like, oh, wow, I got to get ready. We got to do something about this. We have to take advantage of this January opportunity. And a lot of us kind of missed the boat. We're like, hey, I would have loved to have gotten more down at 18.2. I'd love for Bitcoin to stay at $18,000 for 6 months. I'm great with that. Are you? Are you in a position to be able to take advantage of that market being that low? I'd love to hear whether you are or not in the chat. But to wrap up the technical analysis and to give you, with a nice, neat bow, my theory of what's going to happen, Bitcoin is probably going to move down to $21,500. It's probably either going to go through a small bounce and struggle, or it's just going to break straight through 21.5 and drop down to around $20,000. From there, it is probably going to follow through one of those price targets as a result of the sell signal on Lux Algo. And I feel pretty confident in saying, now I'd like to see one more confirmation, that being that uptrend broken that we talked about earlier. But I feel pretty confident in saying that, at least for the next few days and probably for the next few weeks, the uptrend that Bitcoin has been in for the last 45 days is over. And that shouldn't scare you. That should actually excite you because no matter which way the market moves, so long as the market is moving, there is opportunity. It's kind of always been the message of this channel. That's why whenever in the 2018 bear market, Bitcoin would drop, and it dropped like 40, 50, 60%. I remember at the bottom, I would always make the same video, and you guys loved it. Like, I don't know how many of you guys are from the very beginning of this channel, but in 2018 is where this channel was whelped. It was born November 16th, 2017, and then a month later, Bitcoin went into a bear market. To the day, a month later, Bitcoin went into a bear market. In the first year of the channel, Bitcoin was in a bear market. I remember here, and here. I made the same video, I think 4 times. You can go find them on the channel, I believe. This looks like the alien from Toy Story. Just got an extra eye. He's a mutant. These 4 times I made the same video. Bitcoin is crashing. Watch this video before you leave Bitcoin. Made the same video. I have no shame in it because you guys need to hear the same message all 4 times. Watch this video before you leave Bitcoin. Made the same video. You can type it in. Watch this video before you leave Bitcoin. Go look it up on YouTube. You'll go find some videos I made like that. I made some during the bear market this year also in that topic. What was I saying? I was saying, look, Bitcoin's going through a big correction. It's done it before. It's going to be fine. That was the whole message of the video was before you leave, don't forget this has happened before and the people that left missed out. Do you want to miss out? That was the very simple message. Those videos were shot when Bitcoin was trading at $6,500. 4 years later, Bitcoin was trading at $65,000. I hope at least one of you guys saw that video and chose not to leave, because you really would have missed out. And so now I tell you a similar message. If you're worried about Bitcoin going through a huge correction and you're going to leave because of that, then maybe go back and watch one of those videos before you leave. And then keep in mind that 4 years later, Bitcoin rallied by an order of magnitude, 10x. That's the stream. Let's go ahead and read chat. We've got 750 people in chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really helps to support this channel whenever you do. By the way, if you enjoyed the technical analysis that we did today, I just want to show you the place where you can go and learn how to do all of it. Now, a little bit of my story. I spent over 10,000 hours studying the cryptocurrency markets every single day. There are over 8,600 hours in a year. And through all that time, 8,760 is the number I was looking for. There's 8,760 hours in a year. I've spent over 10,000 hours of my life, probably closer to 15 or 20 at this point, studying and working in the cryptocurrency markets to learn what I've learned. You probably don't have that much time. I get the great pleasure of doing this for a living, and before I was able to do it for a living, I was a high school student that had nothing better to do. So I didn't have a wife yet. I didn't have kids yet. I didn't have all the responsibilities that come with, being an adult. So I had to learn all those things on my own, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm telling you, thousands of hours on YouTube just teaching myself technical analysis. You probably don't have that time. Most people don't. That's why I created CT2A, and that's why I created Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. CT2A, the predecessor to this product, which is wonderful, but I think this one is even better, sold over 5,000 units. We had over 5,000 students learn how to do technical analysis through the education that we had put into CT2A. At this point, I built this course almost 4 years after CT2A with everything that I learned in those extra 4 years and with the experience from teaching 5,000 students technical analysis. And I created Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis with even more content that's even more concise, that gets to the point even faster, that I think delivers the idea even better in a way that's even easier to understand and comprehend, so that you guys can learn technical analysis in preparation for this bull market. So if you want to learn the kind of technical analysis that I just did, so that you can make the kind of very confident predictions that I just made. And by the way, sometimes the TA is not very clear and you can't make a very confident prediction because it's just not in the tea leaves. In instances like this, it seems pretty clear. And with technical analysis, you can make predictions like that. If you want to learn technical analysis from the person that, and I really don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I also was voted the #1 technical analyst in the entire YouTube space. I actually have the award sitting over there. If you want to learn from me how to do technical analysis, Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is the place to do it. And by the way, I just really want to remind you guys, I'm not in any way trying to brag on myself. We hold humility as a core value in this company. I have been given everything that I have. I have not taken a thing that I have. As far as everyone that poured into me, they're the ones that get the thanks. I'm not trying to take the credit. But what I am saying is that I have expertise that I want to share with you. And Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is the place where I am trying to share it with you. I want you to have this kind of information. I want you to be an expert in technical analysis so that you can go out and make money for you and your family. That's my heart, is for you to have financial sovereignty. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning to come and do my job, which is to share with you guys. And that's why we created Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis, because it teaches you guys how to work in these markets in a way that I think is extremely valuable. And a lot of you guys have already signed up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. It only relaunched about a week and a half ago. A ton of you guys have already joined, so make sure to check it out with the link in the description box down below. Use the coupon code if you're in CT2A to get in for $100 off. You can get that coupon code by emailing us, support@cryptojebb.com. And also, if you're in Club DeFi's beta when it was under a subscriptionary model, then you have the ability to go ahead and get however much you paid into the beta off for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. All right. Also, by the way, if you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's read some chat. One of my favorite segments. Wow. Coven the B. Let's see. Coven the B. Oh my goodness. It doesn't say your full name. Coven the what? It doesn't tell me your full name. It just says Coven the B ... Or maybe that is your full name, actually. Maybe you tricked me. Donated 750 NT. What is NT currency? New Taiwan dollar. Interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's about $25 is what YouTube tells me. Thank you very, very much for that donation. That is really greatly appreciated. I love the sticker there with the giant jumping around, the giant pear or whatever it is jumping around in the city. That's pretty funny. All right, guys. What percentage of those 5,000 students are successful? Well, I haven't had the great pleasure of sitting down interviewing every single one of them, but what I can tell you is that we used to get emails literally every single day from different students telling us about the success stories that they had with CT2A. I'll just give you an example. I won't say the name. There was a student that emailed us, and I read this about 3.5 years ago, so I probably am not going to get the story exactly correct. But this was a young man who was, I think, 17, 18 when he purchased CT2A, and he used the money to buy CT2A. Then he had whatever the rest of the money was, and he invested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He was a son of, I think it was an alcoholic and a drug addict mother, and the father was not in the situation because of the ending of life. Self-inflicted. Let's put it that way. I'm not trying to be very, I want to be humane and PG-13. Anyway, very bad situation. He told us his whole story, and he told us that through what he learned in CT2A, he was able to learn how to invest and work in the cryptocurrency markets, and he was able to go and make some money for himself and his sister, who was younger than him. I think she was like 13, 14. They were both on the streets, more or less. And I don't know how much you know about living on the streets. It's a very dangerous place for kids, especially a young 13, 14-year-old girl. He was able to make enough money through what he learned in CT2A to go and make himself some money and figure out a way where he and his sister could be off the streets. That was one of the stories we got. I remember reading that story in the bedroom of my house, which was the studio. This is before we had the office. This is back when it was just me and my editor. This is before we hired the entire old team. I remember reading this, and I had chills down my spine, and I was crying. I knew in that moment that's why I do this. Because that kid, who was at the time like 2 years younger than me, I don't know where he is now, but CT2A helped him. And that's a true story. That's a true story. I'm not kidding. We've got a ton of stories like that. There's hundreds of stories like that all in our email over the last several years. So I don't know the percentage, but I do know that those stories are what drive me. Shadrach Frost said, I can say that CT2A taught me a ton. I believe Club DeFi is the next generation of CT2A, and I believe it's even better, and it has even more potential. And I believe I'm a better technical analyst than I was when CT2A was created. I believe we're better at making content that is appealing and easy to learn from than we ever were. And I do believe that Club DeFi now, and with the updates that I have planned for it over the next several months, are going to be an even better product than CT2A ever was. And I'm also here to tell you that at one point we did have Google reviews for CT2A. There were 90 reviews on there, and the reviews were 4.9 stars. There was one review that was not 5 stars. There were 90 reviews on there, and 89 of them, about 90, 89 of them or so were 5-star. All right. Let's read some chat. Guys, I'm really excited for this weekend because I don't know if I've told you, our anniversary is March 5th. We got married almost a year ago, my wife and I, Sarah. And we are going to go to Tampa and get to explore a little bit. I've not been to Tampa since I was in 3rd grade. I went there on a field trip with the YMCA and drove over the Sunshine Bridge, whatever it's called. And I got lost in the stadium. This is a funny story. I got lost in, oh gosh, I'm going to really get in trouble here. Not Stingray. They're the Stingrays. The Bucks Stadium. No, it wasn't the Bucks. The baseball stadium. What's it called? Tropicana Field? Is that it? I think it's Tropicana Field. I think it's Tropicana Field. Yeah, I got lost in Tropicana Field in 3rd grade. And then the people, my chaperones got mad at me. They're like, they thought I was going, because I got lost. I wound up next to where the baseball players themselves were driving like their Maseratis and their Corvettes out. And they thought I went over there to get an autograph. I'm like, I don't care about autographs. I don't know anything about baseball. Anyway, long story. But that's the last time I went to Tampa. But now I'm going to go there over the weekend with my wife. And I'm really very, very blessed and thankful for a year of marriage. And can't wait for many more. Shadrach Frost said, Jebb, I will be coming to DeFi, just haven't had the time to pull the trigger yet. Boom. Thank you so much, Shadrach Frost. I'm not sure if you were in Club DeFi's beta, but I know you were in CT2A. You've got a 25% off coupon at least waiting for you, maybe even bigger if you were in Club DeFi's beta and put over $100 into it. But feel free to email us, and we will get back to you on that. Tampa Bay is where I stay, Jebb. Come on down. Yes, the Tropicana Field. Show support. By the way, guys, this is something that I am pretty excited about. I actually have an opportunity for you guys, I think, to meet me in person coming up pretty soon. And the reason is that my father-in-law is doing incredible man of God, is doing a tent revival meeting. And I'm probably this coming week going to share with you the information about where and when it's going to be. But we are going to be there for some of the days, and I'll let you guys know when we're going to be there and when we're not, hoping that I'll meet some of you guys. But if you want to come to it, my father-in-law literally bought like a 40 by 80 foot tent. Like he built a barn, took the proceeds, bought a giant tent, is flying people in from Africa, and is having a giant gospel revival meeting. Dude's an absolute mad lad. And Sarah's laughing at that terminology. Yeah, I know, that's the younger side of me coming out. But anyway, we're probably going to be there. The meetings are from 7:30 to roughly 11 p.m. Probably won't go that long, but they start at 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So if any of you guys are in Florida and somewhere in North Central Florida or in Tampa, or if you want to drive there and you want to hear the gospel, you want to meet me in person, I'd love to meet you guys, for you to meet my family. I will give you the information next week. More than likely, I'm still praying on that, but I think that I'm going to share that information with you guys. I'd love to see you guys here. All right. Hey, Jebb, do you still like ADA? I do. I like ADA. I think it's a good project. Let's see. Jebb, can you show us fib? What number should we use for fib? The default numbers also is the broadening wedge on the daily time frame. Daily time frame broadening wedge. Let's take a look. Kind of. In theory, yes, that is a megaphone pattern moving to the to the top right. That is very possible. I wouldn't put too much stock in that, and even if you did, it's kind of a bearish pattern in the first place. As far as fib, use the stock numbers, but also add 0.65 in there. The level between 0.618 and 0.65, that'll be something called your golden pocket. You can learn more about that in Club DeFi as well, because we have 2 videos on Fibonacci retracement and extension. Can you drive a manual transmission, Jeb? We had a poll earlier. I can drive a manual motorcycle. I own a CBR 300R. In fact, there is a CBR 300R cinematic on the channel if you want to look it up. I'll go ahead and give you the link. So I can drive a motorcycle. I've never driven a manual car. Here, I'm about to send a bunch of you guys this way. Here we go. If you want, you can go check out this video right here. CBR 300R cinematic. I made this 3 years ago. It's only got like 1,000 views. But if you want to see me riding a motorcycle, you can. I just made this because it was fun. So make sure to check out this video if you want. I can drive a manual motorcycle. Never driven a manual car, though. Must say on that. All right. And thank you guys so much for the support and everything. Bart said, today was fire. Thanks, mate. Thank you so much. Colin McDonald in chat said that, hello. Hi, Jeb. Hello to you. Thank you guys so very much for all the support. Also, make sure you sign up for Lux Algo. A lot of you guys are missing out on Lux Algo and the signals that it has. It's not just useful on Bitcoin. It's useful on every single technical chart. I use it on Dixie. I use it on the stock market. I use it on pretty much any of the stocks that I would look at. I use it on all the cryptocurrencies. Use it on all the time frames. You see just a tiny little sliver of it here on YouTube for me. You see like 1/1000th of what it has to offer because you're not seeing all the time frames. You're not seeing all the signals. I show you like 1/10 of the entire indicator. So you're missing out if you don't have Lux Algo. Make sure to get it. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout for that as well. All right, guys, I am going to have to go. Really do appreciate all of you for tuning in. And by the way, I forgot, I have one more announcement. Stay tuned. 10 a.m. tomorrow. There's a special video dropping. Stay tuned for that. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling.